everybody and welcome to my channel. This is the first time I've ever started a video with no makeup on my face, but that is for good reason. Today I am going to be trialling a liquid highlighter and whether that works for an oily complexion and older skin underneath foundation, not mixed in with foundation, not applied on top of foundation, underneath foundation as a primer. Now I have tried something very similar before. I've tried the Nyod photography fluid before. This is supposed to make your skin look really flawless, but I found that this dried really patchily and more of a powdery consistency once it had dried, and it really just didn't work for my foundation that I was using at the time. So today I am going to be trialing out the Makeup Revolution liquid highlighter. These come in 7 shades. This one is the second lightest. It is the colour Starlight. The lightest one is called Unicorn Elixir, but when I did a patch test on my hand, that was the only one that was slightly patchy, so I decided not to go with that one. I decided to go with Starlight instead. Let me tell you what it says on their website. Extra dimension, highly concentrated highlighter to enhance and give a luminous finish to your skin, which would be really useful for me, especially if I'm using a matte foundation that is really long wearing. To give a luminous glow to that would be absolutely fantastic. Liquid drops that can be added to your skincare or body lotion to create an all over natural glow from within. Used to prime skin before foundation, which is what I'm going to do today, or mixed into foundation for a radiant and youthful glow, or added to the high points of your face after foundation for an intense luminous finish. Control your desired effect by adding more drops to increase glow. Comes in 7 shades for all skin tones. So my skin tone is really quite pale, as you can see. So I'm going to go for the palest-ish, which is Starlight. I have no idea how much of this to put on, and I'm actually quite frightened. So as I said earlier on, I have used highlighters mixed in my foundation before, but I am going to use this as a primer today. And I've always wanted to do what they do on Instagram and drip this down my face, and I'm going to look such an idiot. Here we go. Let's see. No idea why they do that. Let's see, because oh, good grief. No idea whether you're actually putting on too much when you do it this way. Oh well. If it's good enough for the Instagram gurus, it's good enough for me. Oh my god. I look like I've been crying fairy dust. Okay, let's just see whether that's enough, because I don't want to look like I've been pooped on by Tinkerbell. Okay, I'm going to get a damp beauty blender and oh, good gosh. Okay, we're just going to roll with it, see what happens. Okay, so today after this I'm going to be using a full coverage matte foundation to see whether this works underneath. This is frightening me. Oh my goodness. Now this is supposed to make you look flawless, more photo ready, a natural glow. I look like the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz, let's face it. Ooh. Okay, so I'm just going to let that dry down a little bit before I put any foundation on my face. Today I'm going to be using a really high powered, high coverage foundation. I'm going to be using the Urban Decay All Nighter in the shade 1.5. This is slightly too light and pink for my skin, but the shade up was too dark and too orangey for my skin. So I'm going to mix that with the Revlon Colour Stay in the shade 150, which is Buff. These work really quite well together because they're both really high coverage foundations, and this one is catered for combination to oily skin, which is definitely what I have. So I'm going to mix those two together. Let's see how this goes. This feels really, really strange on my skin. It's really tight. Now this has dried down. Really, really quite tight, and it feels quite textured. Just feel quite textured on my skin. I'm going to be using the 103 brush from Zoeva. It's called the Defined Buffer brush, and it's got really, really soft bristles on the end, so it doesn't give you a lot of brush strokes, but I am going to, obviously, as always, go over it with a wet beauty blender right at the end to even everything out. This is really, really sticking to the highlighter. I mean, used as a primer, it definitely is holding that product in place. I'm hoping it's not going to look patchy after. I don't know why, but it's like putting foundation on a really, really dry skin that hasn't been exfoliated for a really long time, and it's just sits in the dry skin. That's what it feels like at the moment. Not sure whether that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but I guess that's what first impression videos are for. Now, this seems like it's taking a lot longer to buff out today. And I guess that's because it's just sticking to the primer underneath, which is what you want a primer to do. But I'm not used to it. Right, I'm going to go in with a wet beauty blender and hope that this will just even itself out a little bit. I really don't like this. This is so patchy, and there's part of my cheek here that hasn't even covered. Okay, well, I'm going to go and put the rest of my makeup on off camera and see whether it looks a little bit better. Well, obviously it's going to look a bit better, but I don't like it. I'll see y'all in a minute. So this is the finished look, and from really far back here it looks really flawless. You can't see any imperfections, but the closer I get, the worse it gets. I look like I've drawn on every single line and wrinkle in glitter pen. It makes me look older than I actually am. You know what it feels like? It feels like, you know when you've got a mud mask on and it's drying, and then somebody comes in and wants to talk to you, and you've got this mask on and you can't move your face properly because it's so tight. That's what this feels like. It is the most bizarre feeling. I feel like my face is gonna crack. In fact, it is cracking. My foundation is actually cracking with this underneath it, and this foundation doesn't do that when I use it on its own. This feels like I've got about 10 layers of foundation on my skin, and it really does look cakey up close and personal. My lines, especially this one here, looks like a crack, and I've only had this on for about 10 minutes. So it's safe to say this has not worked for me, and I am not going to use it like this again. This product is, however, really, really good for an over foundation highlighter. If you put it on and then you set it with a powder highlighter, it is one of the best highlights you will ever get. It is so powerful and intense. So I'm not saying don't go out and buy this product, it's just that I personally will use it in a different way. I won't use it as a primer in future. It just looks very harsh. My pores look bigger. I have big pores anyway, but usually when I put a foundation on, they do look a lot smaller. But these have got little globs of glitter sat inside the pore, so they look even more intensified. Now maybe on camera, with a flash, my skin might look flawless, but I want to be able to speak to people and my skin look flawless at the same time, and this definitely is not doing it for me. Let me know how you get on with it. Let me know whether you think it's really worked for you. I would say that anybody over the age of 35, this would not work for as a primer, or even under the age of 35, if you don't have absolutely beautiful skin with no flaws, this is not going to work for you. But let me know how you get on. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye.